So good morning, everybody. Glad we were all able to come here today. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony Perry. I have the great fortune of serving as the mayor of Middletown for the last 4 years, and 4 years in which we've seen a lot of different changes. We've got a lot of recognizable faces and businesses here. This is normally where I host my business roundtable, which is coming up actually in just a few short months. Again, which is always good because it's a perfect opportunity to drink way too much coffee, eat whatever good food is there, and just hang out and talk business, right? Because all of you have something in common in the fact that you're all small business owners, people that are trying to make a difference, that have reached for that entrepreneurial spirit and put that goal on the line, and here you are continuing that effort. And that means the world to me as a mayor, because the things that you are doing every day, employing people, making a difference, contributing to different charities and nonprofits, baseball teams, little league teams, having your names on them, you're all making that difference. And this small group is impacted, and the reason we're here today, impacted by the governor's legislation that banned plastic bags. And I believe on May 3rd, we're all going to hold on to our plastic bags for the last time and cherish them because on May 4th, you are no longer going to be able to provide plastic bags unless there's certain circumstances, I think, that allow for plastic bags to be utilized. But in large majority, these bags are going to be eliminated for use by the general public. And I'm looking around, and obviously I know, right, Brennan's, No Limits, Susie's Sweet Shop, Bayshore Family Pharmacy, Middletown Family Pharmacy, all these different organizations that all rely and now have to figure out what are we going to do, what's allowed by the Board of Pharmacies, right? That's a big question. For those who are in food service, what are certain health requirements that need to be? And today we're fortunate to come together as a group of those businesses that are impacted by this new legislation. And don't get me wrong, I serve on the board of Sustainable New Jersey, so I understand the importance of being sustainable and working towards a more sustainable future. And I think that that's a worthy cause that all of us can agree on. But how is it impacting our business is critical to continuing to move forward and being ahead of the game. Because I have to be honest, I'm not sure most businesses or most people know that on May 4th, they're not going to have plastic bags to be able to rely on. Why you can walk into Costco and get a box the size of this room and shove all the stuff inside of it and leave, but not a bag, I'm not really certain. It doesn't really make sense to me because that's a lot of trees that are making these boxes. But hey, this is the legislation that we were handed, and this is the legislation that Middletown and Middletown's businesses are going to have to comply with in the near future. So it's not my job to stand up here and lecture from this podium. I can feel already the people that work for me sitting there saying, God almighty, just sit down. But it's always great to be with all of Middletown's small businesses. It's great to come together once in a while and really talk about the issues of the day. I'm involved in so many different chambers and boards and organizations, and it's so critical that Middletown's businesses, Monmouth County's businesses, the region's businesses work together and work through the challenges that they face, because all of you face the same challenges. You're all facing labor shortages. You're all facing increasing prices. You're all facing the same exact issues, regardless of what sector of business that you're in. So it's my job to introduce and turn the microphone over to the guy I normally turn it over to, our Township Administrator, Tony Mercantante. And this is what I'm also going to do, is always stop him because I forget something. But I want to thank, obviously, our Public Works team, Jesse, Eric, Lori, Ted, everybody from Public Works, Rob from IT, that is able to bring these folks together. I want to thank New Jersey Natural Gas for being here as well. And now I'm able to turn it over to Tony Mercantante.
Well, if you'd walked away, I was going to thank them because I figured you might forget. So thanks, everyone. So I've been in the community a long time. I grew up here and had the pleasure to work here for many years. And so over these years, I've seen a lot of small businesses come and go. But now things are changing, in a different way, right? The things that we're all used to are no longer permitted, right? So this is a big change, right? I can't remember a time when you couldn't get a plastic bag going into any number of businesses. So there's going to be an adjustment to that. But as they say, the devil's in the details. And that's why, Joanne is here to explain the details of the rules and how they're going to work, because exactly how they apply to you is really important. My one message, though, is that, stay tuned, because things are going to change again, probably in the not too distant future, because the state is, and really nationally, there's a greater emphasis on recycling than there ever was before. One of the things we're in the process of doing right now is going out for our next hopefully 5-year trash and recycling contract. And so for those of you who live in town, that affects you even more. How do we pick up trash? How do we pick up recycling? And one of the things we've experienced in recent years is that recycling has become difficult. If you remember the old days when you recycle, you'd have paper and then cans and then bottles, and they were all separated. And people found that to be a pain. But the one good thing about that was that the quality of the recyclables at the end was pretty good. It wasn't mixed with trash. So we went to single stream recycling, right? Where you mix it all together in one container. That was a lot more convenient, a lot simpler. Bad news is that you run out of room in your recycling can. So what do people do? They get frustrated and they throw it in their trash. So you wind up contaminating the recycling stream, or contaminating the trash stream. So we want to hopefully try to fix that as we go into the next round. But for businesses, the separation of recyclables from trash is going to become far more important. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more strict rules coming out about that. Because right now it's difficult for businesses, and particularly smaller businesses. Sometimes you don't have the room to really separate trash and recyclables, right? But the day is going to come, I believe, when it's going to be a requirement. So it's another thing to start thinking about is trying to use more products that are recyclable from the beginning and just aren't trash worthy at all, so that you can know where to place those. But it's critical that you think about these things, because that's what's going to come. Because the contamination of recyclables with trash is becoming a problem. What happens is it costs the community or the state or the trash companies, trash and recycling companies, it costs them money when the stream is contaminated, because it costs more to dispose of it that way. So just think about that. Think about how your business operates, and stay tuned to the news, the media on this topic, because further changes are inevitable, and they're going to affect businesses probably more than they do residents, because that's where the contamination issue is biggest now, is in commercial waste, not so much residential, although it's still a problem in residential. So with that, that's my message. Stay tuned, keep your eye on the media, keep your eye on the news, keep your eye on our website, because we will usually announce things like that are going to change. And so, this is something we're all in for the long haul. This is not going to be done with this change. There's going to be further changes down the road. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Not something normally I do. Now I'm coming up to follow up Mercantante. So now I have the very distinct pleasure of introducing Joanne, who's going to really get into the depths of this ban on plastic bags and tell all of our businesses what they need to know. Joanne, thanks for being here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joanne Jamendon. I am the Executive Director of the New Jersey Clean Communities Council. And I know you're all saying, what is that? We are a statewide litter abatement organization. We've been around since 1986, and there's a tax on 15 different litter generating items that all goes into a pool. And every year we take that pool of money and we give it out to every county and every municipality in New Jersey. Last year, we gave out $21 million. Everybody talks about recycling, and all the money the towns get. Clean Communities certainly doesn't get the kudos that it should. I, in my former job, was both the recycling and Clean Communities coordinator for 35 years up in Union County. Recycling requires a lot more work and a lot more effort to get the money. Clean Communities comes in as state aid. Nobody even has to ask for it. Towns just get a check every year. Jessica, it serves as the Clean Communities coordinator and probably the recycling coordinator. I'm not sure how much money Middletown generally gets, but I would imagine it's.
We'll always take more.
Well, it's not, believe it or not, it has nothing to do with me. It's all done by equation and based on the number of housing units and road mileage. Clean Communities gets a small stipend out of that $20 million. Our amount doesn't change. During COVID, believe it or not, because a couple of the taxable items are liquor-based, beer, wine, and spirits. So the funding has gone up during COVID. It's about the only thing that has gone up, and I think will continue to go up. Thank you, Mayor, for mentioning before that the governor and the legislature passed this law. I wasn't even in this job when the law passed, so don't kill the messenger. But on November 4th of 2020, New Jersey passed the single-use plastics use law. And in a nutshell, okay, there's a lot of information there, but in a nutshell, effective November 4th of 2021, we had the straw law went into effect. And basically that says you cannot give out plastic straws unless someone asks for it. It's basically to try to minimize litter. That's what the whole involvement of New Jersey Clean Communities is in this aspect. We were asked to do the statewide outreach and education program. We're only one of 3 entities involved. We're the only non-governmental agency. So you have the New Jersey Business Action Center. Would assume if all of you here are business owners, you've all heard of the NJ BAC. They're part of the Secretary of State's office. They are the business outreach arm of this law. Then there's the DEP, which is doing all the rules, regulations, guidelines, and FAQs. And Clean Communities, I like to say we're doing the fun stuff, we're doing the outreach. And I'm really here to talk about the toolkit that we have designed to help government, to help businesses, and to help media share the messaging and do the outreach. But starting May 4th of 2022, every retail store, every food establishment, every restaurant, and every grocery store will no longer be allowed to use single-use plastic carry-out bags. That wording is very specific because there's a lot of exemptions. So I'll say it again, single-use plastic carry-out bags. Grocery stores 2,500 square feet or larger are also prohibited from using single-use paper carry-out bags. That includes large retail stores like Walmart and Target. What can you use? Because that's generally the next question. There's a lot of plastic bag exemptions for stores, and a lot of it has to do with handles. Somebody mentioned pharmacies before. There is an exemption for if certain pharmacies use plastic bags just for pharmaceuticals, they are allowed. You cannot use the ones with handles, but you can use smaller plastic bags designed just for pharmaceuticals, for prescriptions. Fruits and vegetables, those bags are exempt. Bakery, the small bags you get at the bakery for rolls and muffins, they're exempt. Newspaper bags that you throw out on the curb, which is a whole nother littered item that we should get rid of, but that's just a litter thing, are exempt. Plastic that goes around dry cleaning is exempt. I can actually bring up the DEP website if you want to go through those exemptions, but that's the general practice. Is it a big shift? Absolutely. Our customers going to be mad, 1,000%. I get hate mail each and every day. from people, whether it's about how dare you get rid of plastic bags, you hate animals, like, and all of these things about because how they're going to pick up their dog waste, telling me how much more money they or their parents are going to have to spend. Trust me when I tell you, I feel your pain. But on the flip side, as a business, long-term, this is honestly designed to save you money because we want to get folks away from getting into the habit of getting bags and bringing their own. Grocery stores probably have the biggest fight initially on May 4th, but long-term, because they don't have to provide any bags at all. They're going to be saving a little more money in certain respects than small businesses, which do have the allowance to provide paper bags. But the more folks get into the habit of bringing bags with them anywhere they go, that's the message. Bring them everywhere you go, every time you shop. You just have a bag with you. I can honestly say I haven't gotten a plastic bag from a store in at least 5 years, maybe 6. Just because that's what I do. I just bring them with me, or I carry stuff. Like I get more businesses that look at me that say, I go, oh no, I'll just carry it. And they don't understand. Even if I go to Wendy's, I don't want a bag, just give me my salad, which is bad enough because I feel guilty about the plastic. But I reuse that many times over, but no one understands why I don't want the forks and the knives and all that other stuff. Just give me the item. So we're here to help share that message. I'm probably going to screw this up, Rob, but that's okay. I've done it many times before, and I'm a lefty, so I'm going to try to use my finger here and get you there. How am I doing so far? Okay, so I'm not sure if I can move this down just a little bit. This is our website. We have 2 major campaigns. Like I said, New Jersey Clean Communities is tasked with doing public outreach and education. That's why I'm here, hopefully to educate you. And we will get into a whole Q&A. I just want to give you our role and what we've done for you. Like I said, we've designed a toolkit. Because how many people are sitting back there now and say, how am I going to let everybody know? How am I going to let my patrons know? How am I going to let my employees know? We have been working with the New Jersey Food Council, which represents every grocery store and convenience store in New Jersey. We've done presentations to probably every chamber, downtown, SID, BID, and you name it. We have been doing outreach to them. And so we have gotten feedback as to what they want. But I am welcome to feedback from you as to what you may need that's not on here. And you're going to say, what are you going to tell me? Okay, so the most important thing on Bag Up NJ is our downloads page. Because we've sort of designed it as a toolkit, which is why it says toolkit in the corner. Pretty simple for you, right? I really need a mouse. So I'm going to try to move this over. This, see, nobody's prepared for us lefties in the world. I'm going to have to do it awkwardly, but that's okay. I can't move it over this way. Sorry. So first thing you're going to find on here is a variety of social media posts. So if you want to post something on your website, you don't have to create anything. It's here for you. I can certainly work with Jessica and just take any of these and design them and say, Middletown Township would like you to bag up NJ. That's what we're here for. Believe it or not, I'm not from state government. We're a nonprofit, but we are here to help you. We're here to work with you. And all of this started with, a couple of ideas, and we just enhance it based on feedback from folks. I think so much better when I can see. Okay, that's our social media. I mentioned before our Skip the Straw campaign. We have Skip the Straw messaging in both English and Spanish. See this. So if you want to post one or the other, I'm really proud of this because we just this website changes literally every day. So if you visited a month or 2 ago, you have to come back. Right now we have social media posts in English, Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, and Hindi. And we all will be adding 2 different Chinese translations probably by the end of this week. Like I said, we've been doing outreach, not to just, the English-speaking chambers. We've been going to the Spanish-speaking chambers, the Chinese chambers, the Korean chambers. We've been dealing with our legislators. So you tell us what you need, and hopefully we will try to make that happen. So we have a couple different posts in different languages for you. Cling artwork, this is a new thing as of COVID. We have a lot of plexiglass all over the place, obviously besides our doors. So if you want to advertise this, we have artwork that you can put on a cling. We have web banners if you want to post it on your website. Once again, we developed these more for government. For me, honestly, I do a lot of events, a lot of fairs, and I get a table and I give out bags, and I always try to have some messaging that I can carry around with me. So we design sandwich boards. If you have a downtown area, maybe you guys can put some sandwich boards up along the week before the bag ban is coming, and that's something you can advertise to folks. I really was hoping to have these today, but my printer didn't get them done in time. If there's any printers in the room, maybe you can help. Maybe Jessica can work with a local printer. These are informational tent cards. They're done in English and Spanish. I'm not sure if these are just the business cards, and then we have, we have 2 different sizes available. One is just a business card size, and the other one is a tent card. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. They're intended, obviously, to be folded up. You can give them out to customers. You can put them on tables if you have a restaurant. It basically gives you an overview of the plastic bag law and the straw law, and on inside it gives more details. And that little QR code in there goes right to the DEP website, so if folks have questions. So it's a small, inexpensive way to share the messaging. If you do takeout, send them home with customers so they know it's coming. We have a couple different flyers. Bag Up NJ has all the information on it, and on the flip side, it has all the timelines that are coming. I mentioned the New Jersey Business Action Center. They are the agency doing the business outreach. So they've done a flyer in English and Spanish. Once again, something you could print up. I think the mayor mentioned you're doing a business roundtable in a few weeks. So maybe we can have these on hand for them. If you want me back to answer questions, I'd be more than happy to. We actually have some informational videos, and if this is something, if you have I don't know if you have a chamber in town, but these are 5-minute videos in English and Spanish from the Business Action Center that actually give you a little overview of what the bag law is. We actually did a podcast a few months back. So actually almost a year now. And we have some billboards. This is the Skip the Straw billboard. We have another one coming on the Bag Up NJ. If Middletown Township would like to pay for a billboard somewhere in town for any of these. We also developed a shopping list. I should have brought some of them for you today. I'm sorry. We get a lot of folks that have said, oh, we have bags. We get a lot of people that tell me they have bags, they just forgot them. So especially for a town like Middletown, I think this is a nice giveaway for businesses. Once again, if you have a printer, it's a shopping list that says bring, don't forget your reusable bags. And we've done that in a couple different languages. We have another one coming. We have a few PSAs. We have the voice of the New York subway is actually working this week on our PSAs. So we're going to try to make him the voice of New Jersey. We are also hoping to make, the mayor, I'm going to point to you, the month of May as Bag Up NJ month. Once again, that's going to help you because it's a tool to get the residents of Middletown to know this is coming. I don't know if you have a, first alert system or, but we want to make sure it gets out on social media. We're going to be doing a big endeavor for the 60-day countdown. I'm going to go back up to the top because I forgot to mention, actually, let me get to my homepage. My homepage, this is something we added beginning of the year. Right now, there's 69 days till the bag ban goes into effect. And counting. Every time the second ticks off, I panic a little bit. It's important to know that because a lot of people haven't paid a lot of attention to this law. And they go, oh, you know, you have 69 days, maybe I should buy bags. Yeah, no. There's a little thing called COVID. There's a little thing called supply chain. Getting bags, reusable bags with your name on it, or even bags in general, in 69 days is difficult. Getting paper bags, unfortunately, right now is extremely difficult. They're in great demand because we have a couple neighboring states that have gone plastic bag free, but have not done paper bag bans. So paper bags are very popular in New York and Delaware. So we have 69 days and counting. If you have styrofoam, I didn't even mention styrofoam. There's a ban also on May 4th for polystyrene foam food containers. I usually leave that up to the Business Action Center because as the one dealing with the public, we don't really have to tell the public that they're not going to be getting styrofoam anymore. My answer to you is no styrofoam. I think there are some exemptions that I would refer to the DEP website if you just Google DEP plastics law, but it's for 2 ounces and smaller, I believe. I get a lot of hate mail as well from ice cream stores that say, what do you mean? I bought all these styrofoam cups and I can't use them. Not my law. I'm just here to tell you about it. But there are significant fines, and there's a lot of people in towns that are talking about fines and talking about enforcement. I don't believe that's the answer right now. You know, when we get into summertime, maybe, but right now I'm all about education. I'm about compliance assistance. It's a big change for everybody. I don't want stores to get yelled at, their employees that are, you know, making minimum wage to get yelled at because they're not getting a bag. And I'm not sure how to do that. Believe it or not, outreach is harder now than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago when I started, because then you just, you know, did it in, you know, you put an advertisement in the paper. There's a lot more options now to do advertisement, social media. No, does anybody read the paper? I don't even know. We are starting, hopefully on Monday, doing some advertisement at the DMV. So when you go to the DMV and you're sitting there waiting to renew your license or, you know, update your registration in your car, there's going to be some bag up NJ messaging. We're looking at New Jersey Transit. Obviously, we're going to be doing some radio ads, but a lot of it's going to be targeted media ads, which who even knows what that means? When the law applies to everybody, how do you target everybody on social media? Because it says, oh, pick an age range, pick a gender, it's everyone, anyone who shops, which is, you know, to me, everybody. So that's basically the shtick from New Jersey Clean Communities. I would love to answer any questions you may have about the law, if I can. I will tell you that's usually the DEP's presentation, but we've done probably 100 or more presentations with them. So I've heard a lot of questions and a lot of answers. So I will do my best. Other than, oh no, why did you do this?
Good question. So if you're in a supermarket, you can put your bakery stuff in a plastic bag and produce or you get the counter, you're not getting back.
Correct. It's going to be like Costco, only without the boxes. And don't get me wrong, they've talked about it. Like I said, I do work with the New Jersey Food Council, and they have 6 and maybe even 7 working groups right now. One of them is styrofoam, one of them is communications, one of them is e-commerce. I mean, that's probably the question I get the most. I get my stuff delivered. How is that going to come? And the answer is, I don't know. It's up to the store.
So the food town in Red Bank, they don't have plastic bags available at the checkout counter. You can buy a reusable bag with handles. They're heavy bags.
Correct.
Are those going to be banned also?
No, no, only plastic bags in
Well, they're
stores.
plastic bags, but they're heavy duty and have a handle. So you can buy one when you're checking out. Those will be gone.
If it's made from plastic and it's not, if it's a reusable plastic bag, like, no, they will no longer be allowed. No bags made from plastic bags will be allowed. No, no, stores are actually prohibited from providing single-use plastic carry-out bags or paper bags if they're 2,500 square feet or larger. But they are allowed to sell reusable bags, but not plastic. And there's a definition of the law, says it has to be made of, and there's a whole definition. I probably should have gotten the DEP website up. It's on that little card that I showed you before, but it has to have a handle, has to be a stitched handle, has to be available to be used at least 125 times, and it has to be washable. Can be hand washed or machine washed, but it has to be washable. And that definition was in the law when it was passed back in November of 2020. And this is a great example. Feel like Vanna White right now. Which I believe is available to you as you exit stage left today. Some of the manufacturers have a little tag when you buy them that said this is good for 125 uses, but this is just something when you're buying bags, you have to make sure they do meet the letter of the law. But a lot of stores, just so you know, will be doing their own promotional programs for reusable bags. Nobody, was it Acme Food Town is in Middletown? Food Town. They don't want their employees to get accosted either. I know some of them will be doing bag giveaways for starting on Earth Day to let people know. They're going to be doing advertisements in their flyers. One store told me they were going to be doing, you get a free bag with every $25 purchase. So it's not going to be, you're going to walk into the store on May 4th and, there's going to be all chaos breaking out. At least I hope not. And that's where I think the township is really doing their due diligence, and the fact that they have the support and not only the support of their mayor and administrator, but they're dialed into the subject. I can tell you, as someone who worked in government for decades, and I didn't have a lot of elected officials that could speak to what was going on a daily basis. So I think you're in good hands where they're concerned. But did you have a question?
Thank you. So what about small, the small bag effectively package?
Yes.
I use that.
Yep. There's, I guess, and there's an exemption if anybody here owns a pet store. There's an exemption for like the small bags for fish, and I don't know who came along, what lobbyists came along and made sure that happened, but I always find that kind of funny. Like I said, the DEP website, maybe if we have everyone's email here today, we can I can send you out links to the DEP website, and I keep looking at my cards that aren't up there. We will definitely get cards printed. They're at the print, they're getting printed now. I can make sure I drop some off and we can get them out to everybody. And it's good to just post them up, and people can take the QR code and just go right to the DEP website, which is abundantly full of information and FAQs. It probably has over 20 or 25 FAQs right now, and it grows, as questions come in, and we try to address certain things. A big issue is food pantries. As the agency that is charged with putting together limited free distribution of I forget what it says in the legislation. It says I should do a few giveaway programs, and they are important. I truly believe at this stage, getting people in the know is much more critical than getting bags in hands, because we have 21 counties and 558 communities that we give grant funds to, that we've allowed them to purchase plastic reusable bags for. So getting the word out is kind of the mission. And if you have any advice how we can better do that in Middletown or anywhere in New Jersey, I welcome your input.
How does the business get a grant for you?
Yeah, there's no money for businesses. Like I said, all the Clean Communities grants are going out to the towns. All I could do last year was to ensure that I changed the guidelines to allow the purchase of reusable bags. So I can tell you thousands and thousands and thousands of bags have been purchased using Clean Communities funds and recycling funds. But I've been mostly working with food pantries and food banks to donate bags. I know 2 weeks ago, there was legislation introduced into the Assembly exempting food pantries and food banks. It was passed by the Environment Committee, but I don't believe it's gone any further than that. And we only have 69 days left. I know that because I just saw it up there. Any questions? Because I could just babble up here all day. And
The straws are not big, they're just on plastic.
correct. Plastic straws are not banned. I call it the straw law. And Friday is National Skip the Straw Day. So you have to be friends with us on Facebook, New Jersey Clean Communities, and we'll put a post up there and you guys can repost it. A lot of companies and businesses have gone plastic straw free. Even McDonald's actually got rid of all their plastic straws. You just have to have it available. The DEP will tell you you're not allowed to have it on the counter because you have to request it. But to me, that kind of is requesting it. But I am not the one who's doing enforcement, so. Yep, you can give out any straws. It's all a matter of, you can walk up and give somebody automatically any kind of straw but a plastic straw. So do I think there's a lot of compliance with that? Heck no. But I think once May 4th comes around, in totality, it's going to be just, we're trying to go, make this a litter-free environment. I don't think there's anyone in this room that will disagree with us or disagree that with COVID, we all got very discouraged at how people treated their gloves and masks, and everywhere we went. I don't know about Middletown, but everywhere I went, I always found in parking lots, in stores, people just took it off and threw it on the ground. And I was appalled that people would do that, not once, but repeatedly, and felt nothing of it. Do they not know that it's just bad in general, but where all that litter goes? So there's an overall reason behind this law, and the administrator alluded to it. There's more to come. I personally would like to see a ban on balloon releases. There's no greater immediate, like, hello, I'm littering. Hello, you're basically making an announcement that you're littering. And Mylar balloons especially, they have they've actually caused 20% of all the power outages in New Jersey are caused by Mylar balloons, believe it or not. So that's our plastics law step 2. That's for after May 4th. So when that happens, you can blame me because I will be looking to do this.
Being done to teach kids, we have programs in schools to teach kids how to cook, because my view is that Americans are pigs. There's so much garbage people throw out of their cars while they're driving in my parking lots. And everywhere I go, people are just throwing their dental floss, their gloves, their masks everywhere. It's
Daunting.
never looked worse to me.
I know.
And so their parents aren't teaching them who it is. Is the state getting involved in, birthdays coming up, that they still
Sure.
teach kids to recycle and all that stuff?
Well, New Jersey Clean Communities, like I said, we give grants out to every town and every county in New Jersey, and we promote education programs. We are actually in the midst of revamping our website, but almost every town and county does education programs. It's been a little difficult with COVID. Obviously, there wasn't school and there's not a lot of outside people allowed in the school, but we are days away from announcing a statewide video PSA contest all about single-use plastics. So if anybody knows anybody, any kids, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, we should be announcing it, I'm hoping by the end of this week, if not sooner. It's a joint program between the DEP and New Jersey Clean Communities, and we're asking kids to do a video PSA to teach their peers why littering is bad and, you know, to skip single-use plastics. So I'm excited to see, what am I looking at? Oh. Am I supposed to read it? I can look. I run a hotel. What about ice bags and dry cleaning bags? I think I said before, dry cleaning bags are exempt. I haven't heard any mention of ice bags, but I'm assuming without the handles, they would be okay, but I will follow up with the DEP and ask them. But I would also, that's a great question. I haven't heard that in 100 presentations, but I will also submit that to the DEP and have them add that to the FAQs, because I'm sure there's more than your hotel that would like to know the answer to that.
Yeah, no, church. In Middletown, we have like plastic bags. You know, that we had lunch in the church and they would serve food in plastic bags. They would put the food in plastic bags and go take them home. So no. So
See that?
we have been discard all our plastic bags in the church.
Well, don't discard them yet, because we're going to wait and see whether the food banks are going to be allowed to use them. And I'm kind of hoping they'll get an abundance of free plastic bags come May 4th. But
Definitely,
yeah.
we should not have any plastic bags.
Now, when it comes to food, the only exemption I've heard about that can still use plastic bags thus far as libraries, which I'm not really sure why that is. For, I guess people, because of COVID, you know, they leave their books in a bag. No plastic with food. And you know what? You're not going to be able to use styrofoam anymore. I've never been a styrofoam fan. I always bring, like when I go out to dinner and get leftovers, I always bring my own Tupperware. Which my friends always laughed at me, like, you bring your own. But let me tell you, now they all do. And it happened honestly because I brought my food home once in styrofoam and it leaked all over the place because I wouldn't take a bag. So shame on me. And I've learned that I just bring my own reusable Tupperware with me. And that's what the church should do. You should all bring your own Tupperware, your lock and lock. Then you don't have to worry about it leaking and you can put it in your reusable bag or just carry it. That's what we have hands for. That's what I tell my son when I embarrass him repeatedly when I say no bags. And then I get mad when they put it in the bag and take it out and throw the bag away. And I'm like, so. Any other questions online or?
Paper cups are okay.
Paper cups are all good.
Okay.
And garbage bags are okay. I get a lot of questions. How am I going to get rid of my garbage? Plastic garbage bags will still be available for sale. Ziploc bags will still be for sale. Plastic straws are still for sale. It's the single-use plastic and paper carry-out bags. Words I've probably never used ever before in my life, and I use them 100 times a day now. But okay, I think I'm done. Jessica.
Business asked me to ask you, if you're a chain restaurant, like if you're a chain, whatever, does that, when it comes to paper bags, does that accumulate for the, they still use paper bags?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everything under 2,500 square feet or less can use paper. And I think the biggest concern, which I get, is the whole, what if you have food and like paper leaks? But you probably need to get better containers. Okay, Mayor, over to you.
All right, Joanne, thank you very much. Obviously a lot of information, a lot of things that I'm glad that we've had businesses that are asking questions that maybe haven't been thought of by the DEP or by legislation. I joke all the time, and I'm very confused as to why a library can use a plastic bag, but a business can't. It doesn't really make sense to me, but I stopped asking, trying to look for rationale in things. Yeah. I stopped asking questions about what Trenton does, so I can't keep up anymore. But I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank Joanne. I want to thank New Jersey Natural Gas. We have, as Joanne mentioned, reusable bags that you're free to take that are paid for by the Clean Communities grant that we get. So please help yourself to some of those. And if you have any questions for Joanne, that you may want to ask privately, I'm sure she'll be sticking around for a few minutes to answer those questions. Again, thank you very much. This is an ongoing partnership that the town will be continuing to be vocal about, obviously, and I was glad to hear about. I know Stephanie, I know Susie's Sweet Shop all sell things that come in those small plastic bags, the chocolate bombs, almost all of your products, right? So I was glad to hear that those aren't going to be banned. But like I said, this is an ongoing conversation that's going to need to continue over the course of the next 2 months, especially. So thank you to all of you for coming. Thanks for spending your morning here with us. And we hope to see you in 2 months in May for our business roundtable, which will be taking place, I believe, right back here in this room. So enjoy the day, everybody. Good to see all of you. Thank you.